The absolute mastermind that brought us the greatest show that ever aired on Disney Channel, The Owl House, Gravity Fall fans can fight me, has finally released the heavily anticipated Knights of Guinevere on the YouTube channel Glitch. And there's so many layers and so much meaning and so many things up for interpretation that I just need to get it off my chest. No, this will not be a summary of the plot. A lot of theory videos like to summarize the plot, and it makes their videos 40 minutes long, and I can't stand that. I watch their videos on 2x speed. I'm assuming you already watched the video. If you haven't watched Knights of Guinevere, the pilot, just go watch it and come back here. First of all, we all saw the robots, androids, have guts and gore, and main character Guinevere is being led like a dog on a leash, which to me, I immediately thought that Guinevere is just Dana Terrace, being treated like a robot on a leash, but beneath the robot that Disney, the floating park in the sky, is so very clearly supposed to be Disney. I feel like everyone knows it's supposed to be Disney. Beneath the android exterior that Disney expects Dana to be is a person. She's still human on the inside, and she's forced to smile and pretend everything's okay, just like we saw Guinevere doing. People notice that in the story, Guinevere is supposed to be Olivia's mom, and that's supposedly why Olivia is obsessed with her. Now, that's not confirmed, but if it is, I feel like that would mean Olivia would represent Dana's child, that being the Owl House. How Olivia is stuck to rot away behind the golden walls that is Disney copyright. All the while, Dana, the Guinevere, is so far away that she can't do anything about it, and has been left absolutely destroyed after her experience with Disney. Thus, the Guinevere is really messed up. I feel like this is, not only is it a critique on Disney because of the way that it is, but Dana also said specifically that the concept of Knights of Guinevere was not a project that she had rooming around in her head for 10 years and it's finally coming to fruition. It was developed in the back of her mind while she was working at Disney during the Owl House. So if that's not concrete evidence that this is just a massive metaphor for the struggle she went through during Disney, I don't know what is. Now, we see that all these people are infected with blue ooze. In the theory videos, this is not a theory video, by the way, this is an analysis. I don't know if I made that clear. There's going to be very, very few theories in this video. The blue ooze, in the theory videos that I've seen other people make, they kind of just skip over it and gloss over it, and it's yeah, pollution, obviously, rich people bad, and I get that. But what I immediately assumed when I saw the blue ooze, I thought that was supposed to be blue blood. You know how the term blue blood for aristocrats or people of nobility, someone that descends from a good bloodline. So in this case, it would be the people, the common people, are suffering from the blue blood's infection, infecting every part of our lives. And pretty much the entire reason all of our problems exist is because of the blue bloods, the rich people. So much so that it's even infecting our bodies because we're kind of stuck in our society, specifically America. We're kind of stuck in this awkward situation where we want to revolt and we want to vote with our dollar and not have to spend money that goes toward these massive corporations. But anything you buy goes toward a massive corporation, so you're just kind of stuck. It's just become part of everyday life, as we see with the people in Knights of Guinevere. What I appreciate in the show is that it doesn't really feel like it is a rich versus the poor, which is very common. It is instead the people versus the corporate family-friendly image that these massive corporations that literally loom over all of our heads are creating. Pretending everything, selling us an image of everything being okay when we know and feel in our hearts that everything is not. They have this detail where Guinevere, or the Guineveres, have a profile on every single person that they meet, starting from when they're a kid, the first time they meet them, and it catalogs their likes, dislikes, their personality, and so that it can create a parasocial relationship easier with the kids, which I almost glanced over for a second there, but then I realized that's probably supposed to be like how all these websites ask us to make an account and how we have all of our movements are being tracked and put into a massive server. And every time we hover a mouse over something, that gets tracked. Every time we linger on a page to look at something, that gets tracked. Everything we do is cataloged in massive servers to sell our data to other big companies. The information in this case, isn't to sell our data. It is to further instrict a parasocial relationship with a mascot, because they know the best way to get your money is to hack your brain, which is why social media has become, I think at this point, literally addictive, because they have learned how to have dopamine releases in our brains, and they've figured out the best ways to do that. It is the most capitalistic dystopian interpretation of this that I've seen. And it's such a small detail that I feel like most people just overlook it, and they just yes, it adds to the back and forth of the main character Guinevere remembers main character Franklin, and it kind of leaves the question, is this Guinevere actually a good guy? Or is she just another cog in the machine? When I saw the sign, "We can't do this without you," did anybody else immediately think, yes, essential workers during COVID? And the monotonous work that Frankie does also echoes how we didn't treat essential workers any better or in a nice way during the pandemic, when really essential workers was just a very kind way of saying wage slaves. I mean, for goodness sakes, Frankie is making merchandise and things that people don't actually need. But Frankie is so carried away by the love of this childhood mascot that has imprinted on her brain, their brain. What is Frankie's pronouns? Which again harkens back to hacking the brain, that Frankie is still willing and idolizes working for the big massive corporation, because Frankie's holding on to this nostalgia that won't go away. Speaking of which, it's obvious that Frankie still loves Guinevere, regardless of the social disparity that she represents, along with the hatred that the people have for them and the Guineveres and what they represent. Instead, she carries that strong feeling of nostalgia and hope and that magical feeling of meeting that Guinevere when Frankie was a child and just never letting go of it, like how now it's kind of proves how hard it is to fight against the things that you hate when it's just infected your mind from when you were young, like you're just hard-coded for it. Like how Disney adults in real life are basically capitalistic slaves fueled by their nostalgia, brainwashed from childhood, which is Disney's entire plan. That's their whole strategy. They know they have power over you. We all know that Guinevere isn't entirely an android. And whatever experiments that Olivia does isn't confined to just this Guinevere. We see that the security robots are also partially organic, and it can still feel pain. They can both still feel pain, which I took more as the people are just as much the product as we are the customer. I also felt like this was just adding a little bit of that FNAF flavor in order to maybe make the show a bit more popular, but that's just a conspiracy theory, I don't know. Frankie seems to have fairy tale syndrome, or an extremely bad case of maladaptive daydreaming, in order to cope with the reality of their situation, which both keeps Frankie safe and exacerbates the entire reason Frankie's in this whole problem. The nostalgic grip on Frankie's mind just won't let go. Knowing that Dana Terrace originally drew horror concepts and finally seeing it come into fruition without being bogged down by the iron fist of Disney, it's so refreshing. Not only are we seeing the hate that Dana clearly harbors for Disney but also seeing the raw creative talent that just has been yearning to be released. Dana even stated she's actually having fun making this show.
That's a good question. Is making this show different to your other shows?
Oh, hell yeah. I'm having fun.
And was given the opportunity to do whatever she wanted with this show.
You'll make cool shit?
Yeah, you basically pitched it as, do you want to do whatever you want? And I was like, yes.
Okay, so running with the idea that Guinevere represents Dana, being forced to put on the family-friendly image, even though she's clearly different from everyone else, she suffers so much that it's basically torture, and she's willing to completely jump ship. Now working her way up from the bottom. Or I guess saying that Glitch is the bottom is a bit insulting. I mean, clearly Glitch does not have the same power as Disney, but saying Glitch is the bottom is not correct. Glitch has a bit of notoriety at this point. You get what I mean though, there's parallels. Creative freedom is oftentimes a lot more important to creatives than success. Either you have success and you hate everything, or you have a lot less success, but you're happy. Very rarely do you have creative freedom and success, which I'm hoping now is the case that Dana Terrace is getting with Knights of Guinevere. If I can inject one theory, and I think several theory videos touch on this and they just don't say it, like I think it's implied, but I'm gonna just say it. Besides the FNAF thing, the family portrait of Olivia, how prior she had black hair. Now I'm going to assume her mom also had black hair. It's usually a pretty dominant gene. So people assuming that Guinevere is supposed to be an android of Olivia's mom, it kind of made me assume like, oh, she's wanting to like save her mom, especially when now that she's older and she's desperately trying to get that Guinevere back. What I think people are missing, or just not saying, thus leaving it up for incorrect interpretation, Olivia hated her mom very clearly. Went so far as to not only do the obvious scratch off her mom in the family portrait, but also change her hair color in order to visually distinguish herself from her mom. Or maybe she hated her mom so much that it comes full circle and she put her mom into the Guinevere android to actually just torture her, because it was very obvious that Olivia treats this android like a thing, which there's a chance that the theory videos I watched fully intended that and they just didn't say it, which is why I'm saying it now, and if I'm not saying anything unique, I'm sorry. Okay guys, subscribe. You watched the whole video, now you subscribe. That's how you pay me back. This is a transactional video. You subscribe now. I'm kidding, I hope you enjoyed this video. Stay beautiful, keep playing, tell me your theories or interpretations of the Knights of Guinevere pilot down below. Happy Knights of Guinevere release, huzzah!